Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How you doing tonight?
Hanging in there, Bruce. Hanging in there. It looked like people had a spectacular day at Commonwealth Stadium. It was really great to see the weather cooperate with just the right temperature for the game itself. Maybe a couple degrees warmer, but would have been best. But it was. I just think it looked like people were having a riot, and that's fantastic to see. Like, this is the big event for the city. How many people go to those games? Is it like 54? The capacity, 54,000, or
55,411 is the official attendance of today's game.
Cool.
So a little bit short of the record set in the 03 Heritage Classic for this city, which was 57 and change. In 03. Of course, I was there that time and I wasn't there this time, so that's -1 right there.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I did not go to that game. Bruce, big win for the Oilers, obviously, their second win of the year.
Huge.
In 8 games. It was weird. It's honestly the first time the Oilers have looked like the Oilers this year. They got huge efforts out of the top 2 lines, and their top pairing defense, their second pairing defense, other than one short-handed shift perhaps. There was just, the big players came up. Big Stuart Skinner, a huge save when the game was still on the line. It was 3-2 at the end of the second period, and Calgary came in and made a cross-seam pass and almost put it in, but there was Big Stu sliding over, making the save. So, huge win.
Had to have it.
They had to have it.
If they let this game get away, David, it would have been just a deluge of questions and doubts and what's going on, especially after the way they started this game. I mean, when it was 3-2 in the second period, and I was thinking, this looked like a 5-1 game. And Oilers had a few pucks that, didn't quite find the net. Markster made a couple stops, and, the bounces weren't quite working, but they got a big bounce big bounce when it mattered in the third period. And they were, I think 5-2 is a pretty deserving score from this game.
Yeah.
Empty netter or no empty netter. Edmonton was at even strength. The shots on net were 31-20, and Calgary had most of theirs, when they were shooting from everywhere in the third period.
The grade A shots, Bruce, were 15-9 for the Oilers, and with a subset of 5 alarm shots, 7-6 Oilers. I liked how you put that, Bruce. If the Oilers, how delicately you put that. If the Oilers had lost, there would have been a deluge of questions and doubts. Mm-hmm. More like cursing and character, tidal wave of cursing and character assassination, and calls for people to be this person, that person, or the other to be axed or fired. But questions or doubts is a nice way to say that. All right, this is our 2 good.
Another word for trolling.
I see. That was your dry.
I'm thinking more within the team. There would have been, there would have been questions about the team. There would have been doubts within the team if somehow that lead had gotten away as the last 2 home games. The first 2 home games. The last game they got shut out. They never had any lead that night, but twice they had the lead and lost a home game, and so it's nice to make one stand up.
Yeah. So there are 2 good things, 2 numbers. It's just 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers, and 1 conundrum podcast. Bruce, let's start off with a good thing from you.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go with a good bounce. You don't get much nicer bounces than that. And Vincent Desharnais, who many thought might not even play in this game, but he did get in. They had to go 11-7 because Mattias Ekholm, last seen wearing a sling, was unable to go after he took a nasty cross-check, I think, in the Rangers game. So they went with the 11-7, and Desharnais played 12.5 minutes, made some good stops on the defensive end of the rink. He did get beat on the the one goal on the 5-on-3. Uh, but he scored his first NHL goal in his 49th, no, around a 40, yeah, in his 40 some NHL game. I mean, he's not here to score goals, but he got his first one in the outdoor game. And I think the outdoor ice might have been his friend because he lobbed in kind of a waist high shot into traffic. Evander Kane tried to tip it and didn't. The puck hit the ice and sprawling off the ice it goes, and it bounces higher than the original shot does, and catches the crossbar. It bounces right up and over a surprise Jacob Markstrom, catches the crossbar on the way in. So Vinnie Desharnais, not only did you score your first NHL goal, you went bar down. Gotta love it.
He had a very good game, actually.
He's a giant in the defensive zone, and he's just so hard to get around. He doesn't necessarily mash people. I see people saying, well, he needs to have more hits to be good defensively. All he does is separate people from the puck, which to me is good defense.
So some people think he should hit more. No, he
needs to be a masher.
No, he needs to separate people from the puck and move the puck. And we saw him struggle in the playoffs against some faster teams. And but against a team like the Flames, who were really underwhelming this game, except for 10 minutes in the after the referee gave them yet another power play and they scored. They did have a little spurt there where they were coming on. And but the Calgary Flames, they don't have a lot of offensive talent on that team, I don't think. I wasn't that impressed with them tonight. Maybe they just had an off night, who knows. But in this, for a must-win game in the Battle of Alberta in the Heritage Classic, they were flat, and the Oilers rolled over them, and they wwere lucky that they weren't down 3 or 4-0 halfway through the second period. Good thing,
they
Bruce,
got two goals in this game, David.
I know,
and this is after 4 straight losses of 3-1, 6-2, 3-1, and 3-0. Now they've lost 5-2. So 5 straight losses by multiple goals, and they've scored a total of 6 goals in those games, giving up 20.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Okay, Bruce, my first good thing is Evander Kane, and he has taken some criticism both from you and I, including the most dreaded of all hockey phenomenon, the Milan Lucic comparison. We both have compared him to. We've both worried, honestly, that mainly due to injury and age and being an aging power forward, he's finally dropped off the cliff, and the hands aren't there. Now, we both have noted that the effort was there, and the effort was there again tonight. But Bruce, the hands were also there. He was making a lot of plays with the puck through this game, constantly actually making nice plays with the puck, as well as providing the usual amount of snarl. He, right off the top, minute into the game, he picks off a pass, charges it in for a backhand, and gets off a good hard backhand. Not a dribbling backhand, but he raises that puck and makes the goalie make a good save. 5 minutes later, he charges into the zone and takes a pass from Nuge, who has probably fouled the opposition player a little bit to gain an advantage. And he's made a pass over, and Kane, again, makes a nice, dangerous tip shot on net. He was involved in Edmonton's first goal, I believe. Yeah, first goal, 5 minutes into the game. He's in front of the net, and Nuge puts it on net, and is that the one he tipped? Is that the one he tipped, Bruce? Yeah, that's the one he tipped. He tips the puck as it's going by, and Kulak gets the rebound.
Right.
And
yes, he did too.
Kulak puts it in the wide open net, and it's because of that tip, maybe just the slightest tip, but there was a tip there, and it upsets Markstrom, and there's a wide open, gaping rebound for Kulak, who had a really good game as well. He moves in and stuffs that puck in the net, which was just exactly what the Oilers needed. So he finished. throughout the game, he was absolutely blasting Calgary Flames players with hits. One notable hit was on Tanev. Tanev seemed no worse for wear afterwards, but man, did Kane hit him. He led the team in both shots with 6 and hits with 6, and he scored the 1 goal from center ice. It was 4-2 then. But you know what? How many times have we seen Oilers players miss that empty net shot, Josh Archibald? And it's very common to miss that shot from center ice, and he put it right in. And again, that was another indication to me of good hands. That was a very, very encouraging game for Evander Kane. It's just one game against a team that seems down a quart or 2 quarts. Nonetheless, a positive indicator that maybe our assessment was a little bit premature. The Lucic comparison might be premature, and that's what we were hoping. And we were always saying, like, we hope he can turn it around. We were saying what we saw, and tonight I saw something different.
Yeah, he was charging around there like a bull in the china shop. He's been in that mode for a while now. To my eye, he was good at last Saturday against Winnipeg. He was good in Minnesota when he got the Gordie Howe hat trick. He was pretty good, I thought, against Rangers on Thursday, and then tonight, good again, goal and assist, and he might have had another Gordie Howe hat trick, but as he said to Calgary Flames on his mic, what are you going to do about it? What's anybody on the ice going to do about it? When there was a scrum. Nobody on Calgary seemed to want to do anything about it, so that was that. But anyway, he's been really laying on the body. This was 5 games in a row where he's had 4+ hits, and he's been trying in his way to get the team turned around. I think he's been laying it out there, and credit to him.
What did you think of his finesse play tonight?
Not bad, not great, but not bad. I mean, he made some good touches, and frankly, with the ice the way it was, good touches were hard to come by. Yeah. I mean, I thought McDavid had trouble handling the puck, so if there was sort of a whole lot of just sort of push it to a good spot and then try and, grind it from there. But there was not a lot of high-end skill and finesse on display in this game.
The line of Kane, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman was dominant for many shifts this game, just absolutely pouring it on. And Calgary were just running around like the Decade of Darkness Edmonton Oilers in their own end when those guys were out there. So if this is a line, if they have this as one tool in the toolkit, another one's obviously Draisaitl, McDavid, and Foegele look good with them. He's not necessarily a finisher, but Fogel's a hard-working guy up and down the wing who wins pucks and can skate. And look, he looked about as good as with Draisaitl and McDavid as any winger in a game that I can recall. He was holding his own, and so this is encouraging stuff. It's something Woodcroft can follow. He might not, he won't keep these lines. The lines are constantly shifting on this team and every other NHL team. But I liked what I saw from that line tonight. Second good thing, Bruce, what is it?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the defense pairing of Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci. I thought they had a really strong game. Nurse very, very physical in this game, and I thought he really was in take charge mode. A little bit too physical on the one penalty that he took, which was a little unnecessary. He'll get doctored point in his grades for that. But he's going to get a few pluses in his grades just for his I thought it was a rock in defensive zone, and broke up a lot of plays with 5 hits and 5 block shots. And he was really successfully getting in the shooting lanes, which was nice to see. And CC had a couple shots, a couple block shots himself, and they just controlled the play when they were on the ice together. Oilers outshot Calgary 11-3. And they were the most common pairing playing with that Kane, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman line that you just mentioned. They played a lot together as a quintet. And it wasn't that they really did anything fancy offensively. I kind of thought Nurse might have gotten an assist on the Hyman goal when he disrupted the pass back to the point that wound up spurting out to Draisaitl. I thought maybe he got a stick on it, but he pressured the guy making the pass, and things worked in Edmonton's favor thereafter. And I just thought those guys were in command when they were out there, and both of them had a strong game.
They did, Bruce. We're tracking the grade A shots, and neither Nurse nor CC made a mistake.
Beauty.
Excuse me, a major mistake on a grade A shot against this game. So we call that keeping a clean sheet at even strength.
Excellent.
So just a really solid game. It's probably the first time that's happened this year for that pairing. And for that, that pairing goes up against the toughest opposing players.
Yes.
And they just need Darnell Nurse to bring his A game. And again, he is capable of it. He has had long stretches of time where he has brought his A game. And he brought it tonight. And Cody Ceci, he's been the Oilers' most consistent defenseman all year long. He's been playing really well, and he had just another solid game tonight, which is, again, fantastic to see because he's quite an able player when he's healthy.
Yeah, it just kind of hangs around, eh? And a lot of shifts it's just that, right? Where he just hangs in there, and the other team puts the pressure on, but they struggle to get real dangerous shots through, and sometimes it's just a battle of survival because he's out there playing typically the top players on the other team, and he's he plays a lot of first pairing minutes without being paid like a first pairing defenseman.
Yeah.
And somebody's got to do that. They can't pay a $10 million player at each position on the team, and so they've got to slide a guy or two in above his his pay grade, so to speak. And I'd say that's been Cece's role in terms of the tough comp that he continuously plays. And he doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's fairly solid. Like, he's not going to win every battle, but I mean, who is when you're playing against the top players in the league?
He gets credit here at the
+2 for both of them tonight.
It's interesting how big a factor that injury plays with players, because last year everyone was all over CC, and this year people yet aren't all over Ekholm, but Ekholm's been hurt and he's not playing that well. He's having moments in every game that he would like back, as the commentators like to put it, and it's just so these guys play with the injury all the time. It has a huge impact on their game. And you just have to keep that in mind when you're assessing a player. Is he playing poorly because he's hurt, or is he playing poorly because he's not up to it anymore? So where are we now?
Is he really playing poorly, or is he doing the best that he can given his limitations?
Yeah. We're at my second good thing. Evan Bouchard, I thought, just played a really simple game. He didn't try to do a lot, but he did a lot. He just moved the puck extremely well all game long. Nice passes all game long. And he scored a big goal early in the game. Puts it in, I think it's the 3-1 goal. And puck comes back to him at the point and he strokes it in. Just a typical Bouchard shot where you think, oh, well, he kind of got lucky there, but I don't know how lucky Evan Bouchard gets. He can, with his shot, he has the ability to pick spots, and he's now, I think, got 9 points in 8 games. So he's not doing too bad in terms of scoring for NHL defensemen. But he made hardly any mistakes this game, which is, and again, he's been taking so much heat from people early this year. Maybe we have given him in some games some heat, but we try not to, just universally despise a player because he's had a bad game or two. Try to keep in mind, isn't he the same Evan Bouchard who actually the last 2 playoff years has been one of the best Oilers defensemen, if not the best Oilers defenseman? That guy, that Evan Bouchard, who runs the power play like he's one of the superstars out there, that guy. So great goal. He made a really nice play in the second period to pinch, keep the puck in, and led to a puck coming out from low to high, low-high passes, we call it, to Derek Ryan in the slot for a grade A shot. And then he won the puck in the corner. The really smart stick check where he just anticipated the play, picked it off by lowering the stick, and then ignited a rush down the other end of the ice for a grade A shot. So he was in on 3 grade A shots. He made 1 mistake on a grade A shot against. He was very solid, as he can be, and as he has been consistently in some really big games for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, well, that was a big goal that he scored for sure. Great shot. He attempted 7 shots tonight, and 5 were blocked, but that one got through, and it got through a lot of traffic. I mean, he likes to shoot into traffic, so they are going to get blocked frequently. But anyway, that was big, and I would sneak in a shout out for Brett Kulak, who had a strong game as well.
Kulak really did. Yeah.
But we're only allowed 2 good things, right?
Yeah, you're not going to get your usual 4 or 5 sneaking in there, Bruce. All right. Your bad thing.
Yeah, I got to go with the parade to the penalty box, and especially in the first period when the Oilers took the first 4 penalties of the game. Let's get this right now. Kane for boarding, good call. Draisaitl for playing with a broken stick. Technically, I guess the right call, even as he maintained he did not play the puck with his stick, he played the puck with his skate, which he did, but he was still holding the stick, and so if you have to drop it if you want to keep playing, and he didn't. Pretty borderline. I don't think I've ever seen a call quite like that one. Anyway, Heritage Classic. Let's get it out there, referees Rank and Furlat. So the Oilers were a minute 21, 2 men short. They managed to kill that off and then score right after it was over. That was the really big part of the game. And then Nugent Hopkins took a wishy-washy holding penalty. And while he was in there, Nurse took one for roughing. And again, the Oilers were 2 men short, and this time for 1 minute and 24 seconds, 1:26. And Calgary, wouldn't you know, they scored with 1 second left in the 2-man advantage. And so, and they were penalties. The one on Nurse was a no doubter. The one on Draisaitl was technically a penalty. The one on Kane was a no doubter. The one on Nuge was. And in the meantime, Calgary is doing Calgary things and not getting called for it. So I was starting to get a little hot there at one point.
Did Nurse ever plow advantages.
Yeah, he did pop him one.
He plowed him. I loved it and I hated it because you just knew, it was exactly the kind of snarliness that you like to see from Darnell Nurse. And when he's playing his best, he's going to be aggressive like that.
When you're already short, though, not the time.
But when you're already short,
not the time. But
not the time. My bad thing, Bruce, and I was just talking about Mattias Ekholm. I'm just going to focus on one play in particular. And you point out, this is in the second period, the Oilers are killing off yet another penalty. I think it was their 733rd of the game. And Ekholm, he had just made a good play. You were talking about this. What was his? Just tell me his good play, and then I'll get to the mistake. What was the good play that you saw from Ekholm on that sequence?
He made a real good play to. There was a board battle and the clock was ticking down 15-12 to go in the penalty. And there was 2 Calgary guys and 2 Oilers at least battling for it. And he flat out won the battle personally and then successfully iced the puck down. And you think now 9 seconds left in the penalty, it's over. They're going to kill it. But of course, they've got the long change. And Markstrom, which he did several times in this game, came out to play the puck and whipped it right back up the ice to get Calgary attacking again against tiring Edmonton players. And it's your bad thing, so I'll let you explain what happened to the tired Mattias Ekholm on subsequent rush.
He must have been exhausted. And board battles like between these big strong guys, they're probably utterly exhausted after 1 or 2 of those. They just it's like an arm wrestling. He just was caught as flat-footed as I've seen a defenseman. He was so flat-footed, he did not move. I don't believe that as the Calgary defenseman, I think it was Uyghur, rushes the puck into the zone, and he's coming from the whole other end, and he rushes it in. I think Ekholm kind of picked his spot, and he stood there the whole time. And Uyghur went right around him very, very easily. It was not Mattias Ekholm's best moment in the game. And it's followed up immediately with a save, a huge rebound, and one of the Flames Immortals pounds it in the net. So that made the score 3-2. And it just seemed so unfair at that moment. The Oilers had just totally dominated this game. And aside from lots of penalties and 2 power play goals, everything had gone their way. And they probably were owed one more, if there had been fairness from the hockey gourds, they would have had one more goal by then. Easy. But they didn't. But then they got it in the puck bounced in the third for Vinnie Desharnais, and they got the puck luck that they needed. And they got the save. Shortly after that, they got the save from Stuart Skinner that they needed. And then they got the bounce that they needed. Isn't that what they haven't been getting to?
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
The save and the bounce?
Yeah.
So they got it this game. Bruce, what is your numero?
Okay, well, I'm going to go with number 1, which is the number of points now scored by Edmonton's bottom 6, with Derek Ryan doing the honors by making a very nice play and pass to set up Evander Kane's empty net goal to get the whole bottom 6 off the schneid on one play. But in a little more seriousness, Derek Ryan in this game, he played 8 minutes and 50 seconds, of which 2:09 was on the penalty kill, and the others almost 7 minutes was at even strength. He had 2 shots on net. He had 3 takeaways. Ty Draisaitl for the team lead with 3 takeaways. The entire Calgary team only had 4. And he also went 6-for, 2 against on the faceoff dot for 75%. And for, a bit player to, as you would have to describe anybody who plays under 10 minutes, that's a pretty nice line of stats. Very positive. No penalties either for Ryan. A few marks up in the penalty column here. There's just no real negatives on his line at all. And so pretty strong contribution from a role player. And so hats off to you, Derek Ryan, playing in Heritage Classic in your sort of secondary home of Edmonton. He's actually an American, but he played here for the Golden Bears so long, and now he's been with first the Flames, of course, and now the Oilers, that he's surely an honorary Albertan.
Such a smart hockey player and hardworking, and I'm glad he's on the team. And before the year's out, everyone's going to be glad that Derek Ryan's still on the team. I have a feeling.
Bruce, too.
My number is the number of offensive rushes and goals this game. So this is at even strength. I think the Oilers heading into this game have been outscored 13-4 even strength on offensive rushes. 13-4.
Correct.
And one of the things, hallmarks of Oiler hockey, is you get more rushes than the other team, and you score more goals on the rush than the other team. So the weirdest thing about the Oilers was that, what was going on.
Yeah.
And I don't have an answer to that, Bruce. I don't know, because it's not necessarily systems play. I kind of ended up on the Oilers came into the season really overconfident and not prepared to work like they had to work, or puffed up, or something wasn't right psychologically with the team heading into the year. This is where I've ended up, and I'll let you weigh in here. I'll just finish up my spiel.
Go for it.
To get to my number. But anyway, so tonight they outscored the Flames 1-0 on even strength offensive rush chances. The Oilers.
The Hyman goal.
Oh yeah, that fantastic goal where Nurse wins the puck on the boards by hacking the guy's stick. The pass goes off a little bit, I think.
Yeah, maybe he didn't touch the puck. There was definitely a click sound, and the puck definitely went astray for Calgary.
Goes just to who you want it to go to. Leon Draisaitl rushes the puck up the ice.
Coming out of the box.
And he was looking past the whole way. He was looking past, and I'm sure Markstrom's thinking, this sneaky guy's looking past the whole way. He's going to shoot at the last second. but Leon didn't shoot. He put it right through the defenseman's legs to Zach Hyman, a beautiful pass, and then Hyman put it through Markstrom's legs for a goal. It was a fantastic rush goal. So the Oilers overall had 6 rush chances leading to grade A shots this game, Bruce, and the Flames just had 1. So if the Oilers look like their old selves, I think this is why. Now, we weren't recording rush chances last year, so we don't have these numbers,
Right.
Oilers versus opposition for last year. It's the first year we're doing this.
I can tell you it wasn't 13-4
On goals.
on the regular. No,
It sure wasn't.
not against anyway. So they did change their system for this game.
What did they do?
They went away from the box plus one, and it seemed like they were just more playing, whether it was straight man. I wasn't totally focused on the systems play as per se, but the box plus one that they've been trying to do, it's a system that makes sense, but they just haven't looked comfortable with it. And everything seems kind of mechanical. They're slow reacting, and it's actually made the team, to me, slower. Like their team speed has suffered because they're kind of trying to stand around and be in the position as opposed to flowing with the game. And tonight they did a little bit more of that.
I mean, you can obviously play a zone defense aggressively. We've seen Vegas last year. They were an aggressive team defensively. The Boston Bruins were the best defensive team playing this zone system. I heard something they changed the system. I was trying to watch, and I couldn't really completely tell what they were doing, but they sure looked a heck of a lot more aggressive. And, man-to-man works. Tampa Bay won 2 cups with it, man-to-man. But the centers have got to cover when the defensemen get out of position. When the defensemen start chasing people, the centers have got to cover. This will work if Leon Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and Ryan McLeod make up their minds to religiously cover for the defenseman. Anyway, that's a different question. We won't get into it tonight. But they did look way more aggressive, Bruce, overall. They were quicker and more aggressive on pucks. And maybe it's just the nature of these guys. They're a man-to-man. They've been doing it so long. This is their thing. And again, they had okayish, mediocre, not very good results at all last year playing the man-to-man in the end, especially in the playoffs. In the first half of the season, it wasn't working at all. But if what you're doing isn't working, I mean, you should try things to see if you can try them. And if it doesn't work, yeah, then you should maybe go back for at least a time, because the zone wasn't working. Or at least it wasn't getting them. They weren't getting killed in the zone. They were getting killed on the rush, but maybe it just took away overall from the attitude of aggression on this team that kind of defines the Oilers.
Yeah.
Ability.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they were a little bit not in their element. And so I think it's something that they should continue to work on. But yeah, we got to the point where it was an emergency that they had to start winning games.
Yeah.
It's not much time to experiment. And I think in part, that's, you said earlier that the Oilers were overconfident coming into the season. I think what the issue is perhaps is, and the box plus one can go in the same category. They were so focused on getting ready for the damn playoffs that they forgot they had to make the playoffs first. And it's not just a matter of learning to do new things and thinking we got to be ready for April. No, you got to be ready for games. Games are now. You got to collect points. Hopefully that lesson has been learned. They've, obviously they still got a long way to go at 2-5-1. But it feels suddenly a little bit more comfortable that they're going to start putting it together.
All right. Well, I was going to delve into this same issue in the conundrum, but I'll go to a different conundrum, Bruce.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
They went with, it's okay. No, because I raised it first, and it's not your fault. My fault.
Conundrum number 2.
Conundrum number 2 is, what do they do? It's interesting what they're doing in net. And this was the first time that they went. Is it the first time two games in a row for Skinner?
Nope. For Skinner, yeah. For Campbell did get 2 in a row earlier.
Oh, okay.
And
so maybe
Skinner...
it's consistent. If you look good, you get another game, because Skinner did look really he looked okay in that
He was
3-0
good in the
loss.
Rangers game. Yeah, it wasn't the goalie's fault when you got shut out.
And we both said after that game we thought he would play
Yeah.
on Sunday, and it was just they seemed to prefer Stu Skinner on, I think. And I mean, they did in the playoffs. They've just picked him now for this big game. Although if Campbell had stolen a win somewhere, he obviously would have been in. So it's not like it's clear who they're going with. And maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe you're right. Like, because they went with Campbell 2 games in a row, they went with Skinner 2 games in a row. You think they'll go with Skinner 3 games in a row?
Well, the one thing that's been consistent is that Skinner's now started all 4 home games and Campbell started all 4 road games. Now, I can't imagine that that's something they're going to stick with. I think it's just kind of a fluke of the way things broke. But they got now 4 days off before the 3 days off. They play Thursday.
Okay.
So they may want to be getting Campbell back in there. One thing we saw from Coach early in the season was he didn't let anybody in his roster go more than basically a week between games. If somebody got press box for a couple of games, they get him back in the next game. So I'm guessing they'll stick with Skinner because they want to put something together.
I think they probably will too. That would have been a long few days if they had lost this game. Would have been unbearable. Like, I was starting
20
to get
years until the next Heritage Classic, David.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. There's so much, Bruce. There is so much strife in the world right now. There's a lot of terrible things happening in the world.
Yes, sir.
And I can't take Oilers' social media right now, honestly. Like the chippy, like I don't know. It's just me. It's just me. I guess I'm I find what's happening in other parts of the world upsetting. I'm having a hard time sleeping. I'm trying, like, it's just so painful to behold what's happening and then to think about what might happen. And then people just carping away about the Oilers. I just think, oh, geez, is this really? But you know what? I've done it myself on this podcast. I've carped away, so whatever. Just blathering, I guess.
Well, I don't think we're mean-spirited. And some of the stuff I see on the internet, well, in any aspect of the internet is, that's a very thin red line between criticism and full-blown sort of mean-spiritedness. And
yeah, I guess, yeah, people are just so intense about it. And I've been intense in moments in the podcast during this thing, like, when players have made, like, when they've reverted to form and made mistakes that have cost Oilers big moments in big games. But yeah, anyway, it would have been a terrible time. Would have been a good time to stay off Oilers X, as it's now called. I mean, I don't know if there's any other place where there's much discussion on social media about the Oilers. There probably is, all kinds of boards and such. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't go to those. I'm on
places, X. Yeah.
The same deal.
Not always. Some of the comment sections are fairly reasonable. I know I spent some time at Low Tide's blog, and he's he's always had a thriving comment section, and it's been pretty good discussion. You got a few folks that are sometimes will cross the line a little bit, but for the most part, it's reasonable. At least talk to one another without dropping the gloves.
All righty. Anyway, Bruce, they play Thursday, November 2nd against the Stars. They play next Saturday against the Preds. Then they play next Monday against the Canucks. And then they got the Sharks, Kraken, and Islanders after that, and then the Kraken again. So
it's a tough slate.
It's toughish,
a lot of playoff game. I mean, the Sharks, you'd like to think, but the 3-game road trip at Vancouver, San Jose, and Seattle, it's not going to be easy. But they got to put some together, and they got to at least get points.
They've got to
win a game, get a point out of it.
They've got to start getting 2/3 of the points. in the next little while here to rate
Yep.
their season. And
Yep,
and
that's
again,
reasonable.
it will come down to health. We'll see what McDavid's health is like. It's nice that it's nice for him that he has this time off here a few
Yeah.
days. He can sit in
Yeah,
that
he
ice
didn't
tub that he's
seem
got.
100% tonight, but he was okay, but he didn't have any sort of searing individual moments. And frankly, he hasn't had many of them all year. So I'm hoping that he's, a little extra time off. And
The Canucks are still smoking along, I see. 688 points percentage. So, and the Vegas Golden Knights, 944 save percentage. Ouch. Or excuse me, points percentage.
yeah.
Bruce, we'll worry about that. We got lots to write about this week, I guess, because we gotta. There's not many games, so we'll have to think of other things to write about. So, thanks for talking tonight.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.